My introduction to adults was through an unexpected weekend binge of the irreverent comedy focusing on early 20 somethings navigating their lives as recent adults in Queens, New York. So, with the impending second season less than a week away, I did what any normal person would do to bring myself back into the chaotic world of adults. I watched some reaction videos. Not surprisingly, there weren't too many reactors watching the series, as the show received decently positive praise, but was not anywhere near a breakout hit. But in the few reactions that I did watch, I noticed a common conclusion coming out of the season one finale. Many viewers did not really like Issa. Thus, I felt it was my duty to come on here and share my perspective on this controversial character. Issa to me is a very misunderstood character in a way that's actually incredibly meta when you dive into how the character is also perceived like in narrative. Something about this show that I really enjoy is that it's incredibly subtle in its character moments. These moments can provide a lot of insights into the history or psyche of the characters, but they are presented as gentle whispers rather than the more heavy handed spotlight approach of many of the show's sitcom forefathers. This narrative style can mislead audiences into thinking characters, and even the series as a whole, is shallow with no real development. And I believe that no character suffers from this misconception more than Issa. Some have described Issa as a knockoff Ilana from Broad City, which I feel does a massive disservice to her character. I can admit that they do have a similar voice, maybe like a similar cadence in the way that they speak, but that's the only similarity that I'll give you. Issa is a young South Asian woman living with her unquestionably enmeshed college friend group. She is known as the fun activist, impulsive, open minded, flighty, and sexually open friend. And we see that demonstrated throughout the first season. But what we also see are moments where layers of this persona are peeled back just a bit. I'd argue that at the center of Issa's behaviors, decisions, and overall demeanor are two central questions that she constantly repeats in her head. One, do my friends actually like me? And two, am I a good person? So let's dig into each. Spoilers for season one of FX's Adults. Also, trigger warning for suicide. The first major scene where we see Issa's guard down is the hospital chapel scene in the episode Spit Roast. While initially framed as stemming from a trivial moment of Billy not naming Issa as her medical proxy, her conversation with non denominational God reveals that she generally feels unappreciated and unseen by her closest friends.
It's like they want me around so I can fix their makeup or flash my tits at a rave so Samir's cousin can get in, but they don't actually see me.
When I first saw this scene, I was actually taken aback because it felt like a familiar anxiety that I, and I'm sure many others, have felt, especially in their early 20s. A deeper reflection of your relationships with friends and questioning if they really understand you as your own person or if you just serve a particular role or purpose in the group. Many of us subconsciously slot into specific roles, especially in group dynamics. Whether it's with family or friends or colleagues, there's often the concern that their perception of you has at some point calcified and that they will never see you as anything else, no matter how much you grow and evolve. And for Issa, unfortunately, this fear was immediately and continuously validated after returning back to the group. Anton, in a serious moment, outright dismisses her in a very not now, the adults are talking kind of way.
What's it say?
I don't know. You look. You're the proxy. You're the
What's it
guy.
say? I
Come
don't
on,
know.
take it. Read it.
Oh, what's wrong?
No, please.
inappropriate behavior.
This clearly crushes her and leads her to wanting to prove herself to them even more in this episode. But there was another moment where Anton actually admits that he actively tunes her out.
Okay, well, Issa, you say a lot of things. Okay, so I sort of scrubbed through them for words like danger, fire, Anton.
Does literally no one listen when I talk?
And now that I'm saying this, I'm realizing that a lot of this tension is actually created in her relationship with Anton. I wonder if this tension will be exacerbated by any other tension between them. We shall see. Another episode where we see Issa's insecurities in her group identity is in the dinner party episode. Issa from the beginning exudes confidence, claiming that she's the ideal dinner party guest.
Lucky for you, I am the ultimate dinner party guest. Jules is gonna love me.
She is.
I just hope she's not intimidated seeing me in my element.
This confidence was immediately shattered, however, upon the arrival of Julia Fox. Issa immediately panics and starts to spiral. Issa believes that she and Julia occupy the same female archetype and fears that if she cannot play the part of the cool and interesting partygoer, then what purpose does she serve?
I mean, did Paul Baker bring the A+++ version of me to this party? Sure. Now here she is on my night, being interesting all over the sofa.
That existential dread of her position being usurped by a her but better Julia Fox leads Issa to make increasingly desperate decisions like changing her outfit and makeup to be more bold and sexy and not so subtly insulting Julia at the dinner table.
I actually have a toast as well, and it's called Bleached Eyebrows Aren't a Personality.
Okay.
At the end of the day, her insecurities got the better of her, and her feelings of intimidation turned into an irrational competition to stave off her fears of being replaced. And lastly, I think Issa really demonstrates her adherence to and fears about deviating from her sense of self in the moments before walking down the aisle at her wedding with Paul Baker. Billy makes an offhanded joke that she and Issa have ostensibly switched roles because Issa was the one getting married and she was the one having threesomes the night before.
Threesomes, itchy vaginas, you're like doing it.
It's like you're the Billy and I'm the Issa.
Oh God. Yeah, that's true.
But after that comment, it dawns on Issa that she's losing her grip on her sense of who she is, or at least who she's supposed to be.
Dad, I'm not supposed to get married at 24. If anything, I'm supposed to get married at 60 to a 24-year-old.
She's so bound by this image that she has of herself that even for Paul Baker, she's unwilling to betray it. She refuses to let go of this identity of a carefree, impulsive young woman out of fear that she'll eventually lose her sense of self, as well as potentially her spot in this particular friend group. It's actually a really interesting paradox in which she feels this intense compulsion to maintain and reassert herself in this like very specific role that she occupies in the group, but at the same time has these lingering concerns about if that particular role or position is also limiting the ways in which her friends can like really, truly, and deeply understand her. In the very first and statistically most polarizing scene of the show, we see the group on a subway returning to Samir's parents' house when Issa spots a man openly masturbating. She alerts the group, and while everyone else tries to avoid making eye contact, Issa, aghast, calls him out and engages in a jack off. I'm sorry, that was so stupid. While unfortunately her efforts were not successful in deterring his behavior, I think this actually encapsulates a fundamental aspect of Issa's character, a misguided sense of justice. Also, side note, I do think that this moment has like subconsciously been carried throughout the season in people's perception of Issa. So if they hated the scene, I feel like it unfortunately became somewhat of a stain on their perception of Issa as a character beyond that first scene. I also have some like thoughts on the retrofitted pilot that came out last month, but you know, I'll save that for for a discussion in the comments. So throughout season 1, we see Issa actively engaged in or reminiscing about some form of activism or protest. There was the rally for Kyle, the workplace sexual assault victim.
New York City! Woo! Are we having fun? Well, Kyle wasn't. When he was touched at work.
The climate march incident with Jane Fonda.
I have that awesome story about how Jane Fonda punched me in the tit at the climate march. And I'm like, hey, whoa, dodging. And before I know it, boom, down she goes. Old bitch.
Her sponsoring a pregnant teen who needed to cross state lines for an abortion.
Guys, this is Annabelle. She's crashing with us this weekend from out of town.
And other progressive causes. But we also see clues throughout these scenes that demonstrate that Issa's activism is a bit, for lack of a better word, performative. She forcibly inserts herself into Kyle's events, centering herself over the man who was actually victimized.
It's important to me, so I need you to support me in my cause.
And I do. And Kyle's behind you.
Who? Oh, Kyle, hi!
And she dumps Annabelle onto Paul Baker and Anton without any warning.
I volunteered to house an abortion teen from out of state because I'm doing my part, but I need you to do your part of my part and watch her this weekend.
But based on anxieties expressed both subtly and more explicitly across various episodes, I believe Issa's performative activism is, in part, a way for her to fight against this fundamental belief that she's secretly, deep down, a bad person. We see this most directly in the episode Thericide, where Anton reveals that he and Issa's shared therapist has died.
George is dead?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What? Immediately, we see Issa begin to obsess over the idea of bearing personal responsibility for his death, incorrectly assuming that he committed suicide.
What if it was my fault?
What, Issa?
No, you don't understand. I called him like 6 times a day. Last week, I woke him up at 3 a.m. to ask him if I was needy.
Her insecurities had her believing that not only her personality in general was too much, but that it was so much that it would drive someone to suicide. It's a bit of a leap, but that sort of like irrational thinking really underscores like how much this is something that weighs on her consciousness. So while this is clearly a very self-important framing of another man's death, it does show us that the seemingly confident Issa actually holds many worries about the truth of her like core being. This preoccupation essentially pushes her in the episode to, rather than reflecting on how this tragedy really made her feel, she instead went to extremes to get closure, meaning she wanted any confirmation possible that she was not the reason for his death.
What if our sick, twisted minds killed George?
We have to sit in that. That's what George would say. We have to sit in the uncertainty.
And why would we do that when we can talk to ghosts?
So after a slew of some very narcissistic hijinks of her and Anton, there's a scene at the end where the two of them stare at their therapist's grave, and Issa asks outright,
I'm not like a bad person, right?
really hoping for and clinging for someone to give her an answer to that question. In a very sort of cute and silly way, Anton does give her that by giving like a very obvious fake voice of the spirit of George, their therapist, basically validating for her that no, I don't believe you're a bad person. And you can see that even in the delusion of this being in any way real, it gives Issa some sense of comfort.
No.
Oh my God.
What was that?
Did you hear that?
No,
oh my
that
God.
was insane. George?
George?
This moment, though, also mirrors the scene in the finale where she makes the decision not to marry Paul Baker.
I can't do this.
After deciding not to go through with it, she's just lamenting over and over.
I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person.
Hey, look at me. Stop crying.
Oh God.
And so in that moment, again, that insecurity bubbles to the surface and comes out in a really high pressure moment that challenges her sense of self. Where does Issa stand at the end of season 1? Well, she's still struggling with her basest mental anxieties and may also continue to further question her role within the friend group and how exactly their relationships will continue down the line. And I think even more so now with the added drama of Anton and Paul Baker revealing their own sexual tension. So all in all, as Issa's lawyer, I have to say that this perception that she's a one note character with no real development or sort of interesting challenges, I think is really missing the mark of who she is and how the writers have portrayed her character throughout the first season. So I'm excited to see where the new season takes us and hope that audiences begin to better understand Issa, who is, I believe, an unexpectedly complex character. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's definitely a new style for me, still workshopping it, but I thought it could be a fun and quick addition to the content that I'm currently putting out. So let me know if you like this style of video and if you have any requests for other characters for me to be in defense of. This one, I will say, was pulled together really quickly, but I do think if I want to do some more of these, I really want to spend a bit more time like building out the script and like really creating like a very strong argument for these characters. And so, but I'll only, of course, be able to do that if there's interest in it. So let me know with likes, comments, subscribe if you're interested as well. I haven't necessarily committed to doing reactions for this particular show, but if there is interest, honestly, let me know. And might be willing to do that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.